What's up, market makers militia? I got a request for ADA. Thought I'd do an ADA video. So let's start with the 4 hour, okay? So 4 hour time frame. Well, I can tell you what I see right off the bat because it's very similar to Ethereum. Okay, so this is why I haven't been making a lot of videos on the alts yet because of where we're at with Bitcoin, okay? Because most everything's tracking the same way. There's not a lot of interesting patterns per se. They're all kind of playing out the same way. When you look at this, you can throw a trend line down here on the 4 hour. You can throw a trend line up here. And this is going to look like an ascending wedge like Ethereum, right? So you got something like that. So you got an ascending wedge on the 4 hour time frame, very bearish pattern. These break to the downside 2 out of 3 times, right? Where would it break to? Well, let's just draw. Let's draw a base. Okay, we don't know where it's going to fall from, but potentially there. You do have some hard support right here at $1.33. Something to keep in mind. And again, it doesn't have to fall. It's tied to what Bitcoin does, right? But you can see this, what it's doing here. You have an ascending wedge. And if you print candles, if you keep consolidating, you're in that wedge. At some point, you go up or you're going to fall out of it. And that's where you would fall, $1.33. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame, see if anything's different. 1 hour time frame. We have, let's get rid of that big circle. 1 hour time frame, your problem's different than the ascending wedge. And you see this all the time. Okay, this is a pattern within a pattern, right? Maybe you already see this, but you see what's happening here? You have a top, right? So what happens here is if Bitcoin goes up at all, let's see if Bitcoin is going to go up at all. Yeah, look, see, here's your problem. Like, let's tie the two things together, right? Let's tie the shoe. So you're resting on your old swing high. That's what this red line is, okay? You're resting on it. You already see the candles up. So Bitcoin could easily track up to this hard resistance and then start rolling back down, okay? And if it rolls back down and makes that type of pattern, like a top pattern, which is literally where you're at here, right? You see that? If you start doing this type of pattern, hit that resistance line and come back down, you just made a double top, right? And then you're going to have a neckline. And if you break that, you're falling out of the wedge, okay? And then you're triggering the wedge. It's a pattern in a pattern. So your target down here would be like $1.31. You do have that resistance or that support level of $1.33. So who knows if it gets there or not. And again, it would be tied to how far Bitcoin actually drops, right? That's the whole thing. Let's see what we have here for some indicators. Let's check out Ichi. Let's see how far, if you're extended at all. Here's my volume weighted moving average. You can see that you are using it as support right now. So you were extended, you came back down to it, and you're using it as support. This is your harder levels of support down here with Ichi, okay? This is the bigger cloud. This is your moving average support, right? So you're using that right now. You were extended. Every time you get extended, you come back down into it. Here you had to hit the support to bounce back up, and then you made your move up here, okay? And you fell back down. So you're resting here. Your hard level of support's $1.39, which the danger here, guys, is that because your level of support is here, you do have the ability, like I said, to go up, right? And go up and then come back down, and your neckline is going to be above your support line. So that's the danger here. So you could easily break that. So you don't have like a fail-safe, essentially. You could break that, and then you'll fall right through here. Now, you have to fall through a support cloud. So like I said, you may only get to $1.33. It all depends on what Brother Bitcoin wants to do, okay? Brother Bitcoin wants to fall hard, you're going to fall hard. If it's just kind of a small failure, then maybe you land in the support cloud up here and you're okay. That's Ichi. Let's check our volatility. I'm sure it's in the green. Yeah, because everything's in the green. This is reverse engineered RSI. Okay, here's your buy sell signal line, your median line, and you are in a buy zone. You are in good volatility. You're in green. You are primed for a move. All the alts are going to be primed for a move because they're all tied to Bitcoin, which is consolidating in a low volume area. So tonight it is U.S. time. The banks are all closed for a couple hours now. Precarious time to trade is always on the weekends and at night in the U.S. Okay, that's why a lot of the pumps and dumps happen after hours on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Because yes, there's AI, yes, there's bots, yes, there are 24/7 traders, okay, but the volume is substantially lower. So we need to see what happens with Bitcoin because you got to pump up out of this ascending wedge, or you're going to fall from the ascending wedge and you may make some type of double top. Okay, so that's your ADA. Let's just check one more thing real quick. Let me turn that off. Let's look at GAN resistance and support here at the 1 hour time frame. I like to look at these things at several different indicators to get some type of confluence. Pull this down. So you can see your hard support levels here. You're green, and you're just above it here. So you're trading in this grid right here. You got your hard resistance right here, that red line. So you're in this grid right now. If you do come through this grid, you're down here, okay? If you fall through this grid. And if you're down there, you're right on that ascending wedge line. And again, this is like double top territory, okay? So just watch this. You have to watch that zone. Let's check the trend real quick. So your ATR is starting to come back down. The way you read ATR, guys, it's easy. So you see how ATR is flatlined right here? Everybody in Forex uses this. You guys hear the crickets and the cicadas in the background? See how it's flatlined? And then when you have a move like that, it elevates. You can establish baselines and stuff. I don't have it set up for ADEX. I just threw this together real quick. Your Shonday, you can see the momentum petered off, right? You can see this with my my trend checker here. The signal line's above the trend's dying. Everything's this way. My time segmented volume, the signal line's falling below the volume. It's starting to peter off. And of course, blast off, everything's petering off and coming back down. So that's ADA, tracking very similarly to the other alts. Keep a watch out on the 1 hour time frame for a double top, right? The double top will send you back through the wedge, which would trigger a bigger fall, okay? All tied to Bitcoin, guys. So keep an eye on Bitcoin hitting that hard resistance level. If it starts hitting its head on this level up here and rolling back down, it just made a double top up here. And if it makes a double top and breaks it, then all the alts are coming with it, right? Just depends where it goes. It's my dog, Nikki. She's a Belgian Shepherd. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.